is the Louie Tee Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Overtime! So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Arizona Cardinals hosting the New York Jets. 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 And it was a nice, thorough ass whooping on Monday night. You know how we handle ass whoopings here on the Louie Tee Network. So, going to be a little bit of different program tonight. I'm going to skip all of the unnecessary stuff. Cut out all the fat, all the trimmings off the corner of this episode and just get straight to the proceeding this evening. But before I do that, of course, I still got to set the table. You know, we trimming off fat and all that good stuff. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes of everything. But I still got to say grace. Bow your heads. Hold hands. Let's say grace quickly. And how we do that on this program simply. Welcome all of you who are new to the program. Welcome to the Louie Tee Network. And subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. I'm also on Twitter. At In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. You can see all my social media platforms scrolling in the corner of the screen there. So if you forget, there it is, nice and convenient for you to help you remember. Also, if you're on Twitter while you're watching this live feed, don't be afraid to use the hashtag LouieTLive to allow your voice to be heard when we get to the wrap it up segment of this show. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're in the chat discussion, go ahead, use the hashtag LouieTLive, which will then get your comment read at the end. So with all of those particulars out of the way, amen, let's go to work. Let's go ahead and dive right into this game quickly. And generally, I told you I don't handle ass whoopings the same as competitive games. Generally, I get into the likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe, all of that good stuff. There is none of that for this. It's an ass whooping. So what I do with ass whoopings is I tell you what I saw from afar. Okay? So I'm going to essentially tell you what I saw from afar in this game with both teams. And then we're just going to move on. Like I said, not here to waste your time. It's not really a lot to talk about. So with that being said, let's get straight past the likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. Let's get straight past where this game was won. Let's go straight to wrap it up. Let's do that.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
All right, so let me give you what I saw from afar. So we start with the victors. To the victors go the spoils. When we get to ass whoopings, we always start with the ass whooper, not the ass whoopee. So Arizona Cardinals in this game, they took care of business. I actually had a brief conversation with my man B.E., huge Arizona Cardinals fan, and we were talking on one of my lockdown coverage breakdowns, and he said, what are you looking for in this game with the Cardinals and the Jets tonight? And I said, it's simple. I'm looking for a Cardinals win. Get back to 500. The Jets stink. It'd be nice if you just beat the boys up, get it over with quickly, make this as painless as possible. No need to play around with these boys. No need to make this closer than it has to be. Take them out, back of the shed, pop two in their head, boom, boom. Now you know they dead. And move on to the next game. You got a big one coming up versus the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. No need to waste any unnecessary energy on these boys. Take them out back, pop two in the head. Now you know they dead. Move on to the next one. That's what they did. David Johnson, huge in this game. 22 carries, $111, 3 touchdowns. Seems to always show up on the brightest, hottest, biggest stage. The lights are bright, and he shows up every single time. It seems like love DJ. I've been a huge fan of his. Go back and check my draft wrap up of him, and it'll tell you all you need to know about how I feel about DJ. And he was one of those guys consistently at the top of my rookie wall a season ago. David Johnson is an animal and was again tonight. That first touchdown run, the 58-yarder, his career high, how beautiful was that? That was a work of art. Did you see how he slow played that? He initially was just jogging. I'm setting up blocks. And then he cut off a guy, broke one of those Jet defenders off, gets to the outside, a couple of nice blocks, and then he turns on the boosters. That's how you do it. That's how Le'Veon Bell does it. That's how the best backs in the league do it. And that was just a masterpiece put forth by David Johnson. The passing game looked okay. I still think they're missing something there. This doesn't look like the Arizona Cardinals that won 13 games a season ago, 12 games, whatever it was last year in the passing game. But the running game looks sharp. Carson Palmer left the game with a hamstring injury. Hopefully he's fine. Jerron Brown left late in the game with a knee injury. Hopefully he's fine. You don't want any casualties going into a big game. You don't want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers going into a monumentally huge game next week without all of your guns fully loaded, ready to go. So hopefully those guys are ready to rock and roll come next week. The defense was dominant. They went out, did what they had to do. They chased Ryan Fitzpatrick from the game. We'll get to the Jets and all of that discussion here in a second. But the defense went out. Even though they didn't sack Ryan Fitzpatrick, they made him uncomfortable. And I thought they did the biggest thing that they needed to do in this game. Stop the run. Force force Ryan Fitzpatrick to beat you. Don't let Matt Forte be any assistance to Ryan Fitzpatrick. You just want to make him one-dimensional, make that offense one-dimensional, and make him feel like everything's on his shoulders because he doesn't handle that very well. Like John Gruden said on the telecast, Ryan Fitzpatrick, not the type of quarterback that you want to be able to win the game for you by himself. You don't want to ask him to do that. That's when turnovers happen. And so you know how I feel about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't need to sit here and berate you with my feelings on Ryan Fitzpatrick. And they finally pulled the plug on him. 3 points was all they could muster tonight against that Cardinals defense. And good for them. They went out. They dominated a team that they were supposed to dominate. Really good performance by the Arizona Cardinals. And this is one of those confidence-building games that you need under your belt when your team trying to figure some things out. You're back to 500 now at 3-3 on the season. Nice win. And the Arizona Cardinals now in a good position to really tighten things up in the NFC West division with a win next week. And we'll see if they can go ahead and get that. Switching lanes over to the Jets. You're 1-5 at this point. The playoffs, it's a distant memory now. That's not going to happen. I've all along said that Ryan Fitzpatrick, you'll never go to the playoffs with that guy at quarterback anyway. So my whole thing is now he's on a one-year deal. So how about you just find out what you got at quarterback? I think this is the right move, whether it's Geno Smith, whether it's one of the young boys on the bench, Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg. Knock yourself out. I think Geno Smith is obviously the next choice, next guy in line to get a shot. Give it to him. Let him see what he does with it. And I say you roll with Geno the rest of the way. He's on a contract year. Find out if this guy's worth keeping on the roster, even if it's only in a backup capacity. Figure out what you got in Geno Smith and move forward. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick was on a one-year rental anyway. You're not going to win with him. I told you that. And, last year was a magic carpet ride, and I told them that magic carpet ride was short-lived and it was going to be over this season, and it is. Move on, figure out what's going on. And you're at the point in the season now with the Jets where if you're going to start moving around quarterbacks and making those types of decisions, you need to start taking inventory of your roster now. Figure out who's dead weight and figure out who's not. Guys that are dead weight, you got to move on next year when the offseason hits, and you got to figure out what you need to get onto this roster to make this team competitive again, because this defense, you say what you want about Ryan Fitzpatrick and how bad he is. This defense wasn't supposed to be bad, but yet this defense, they're not terrible, but David Johnson went over $1 in this game. Carson Palmer had a solid performance. They didn't go out and stifle anybody. They haven't stifled anybody this season for the most part. So you still need to retool that side of the football as well. You got some older guys in certain positions that maybe you need to upgrade and figure out what it is you need to do with this football team moving forward and start planning for the future, because this season, it's not done, but it's done, if that makes any sense to you. They were dominated thoroughly in this game. Ryan Fitzpatrick with a couple of turnovers. It's the type of thing that, needs to happen on a stage like this in order to affect change. And that's what needed to happen. You get beat up on national television, and change is on the horizon. And I expect Geno Smith to get the start next week because, again, what's the point of going back to Ryan Fitzpatrick? You know who I feel bad for, and I said this before, and I'll say it once more, and then we'll move on, is I feel bad for a couple of guys. Matt Forte showed up because he thought he was going to get a chance to win. I could have warned him in advance, but veterans are going to do what they feel like is in the best interest of them. And then again, you don't know what the market was for Matt Forte out there. We'd like to think, oh, it's Matt Forte. He could have got a job anywhere. It's not true. Not a lot of teams are looking for a 30-year-old running back. I mean, that's just not a market that a lot of teams like to dabble in. You're going to get a running back. You're looking for a guy that's young and cheap. Matt Forte wasn't going to be either. So not many teams out there looking for a Matt Forte type out there. So maybe he didn't have a lot of suitors. Maybe this was one of the few places that gave him an opportunity to start, make money, and potentially win based off of last year's results. And so he took it. But I could have told him, Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's a pipe dream, my man. You're walking into a death trap. And now he's playing for fun again, which isn't fun when you're 30 years old and you're looking to win. Same for Brandon Marshall. Guy's never been to the postseason before, and you're not going to go. And I could have told him this when he said, hey, I'm going to sink with the ship. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick's going down, we all going down. Well, I said, hey, buddy, better get your life raft. Better get your life raft ready because you're going to sink. This ship is going down. It's going down fast, and it's going straight to the bottom of the ocean, bro. And if you can't swim, you're going down with it. So hopefully you got your life raft or you got your life-saving device, and you're ready to float on to another team. And he said this was going to be his last stop. So if this is, in fact, his last stop, looks like he'll never make the postseason in his illustrious NFL career. That being said, let's get to what you guys have to say on this subject matter. Let's see what you guys have to say about the Cardinals getting back to 3-3 on the season and the Jets falling to 1-5. So, my man BE says, David Johnson in all caps. He is the man. Yes, indeed. 3-3 also, BE says. Sean Matt says, JETS suck. That they do. And when Ryan Fitzpatrick is your quarterback, eventually that is going to happen. BE says, David Johnson had 138 total yards with 3 touchdowns. That's a fantasy football player's dream, owner's dream. I guess they call them owners. Captain Spartan 04 says, what would you do if Brandon Marshall was your GM? What would I do if Brandon Marshall was my GM? What? I don't get that one, Cap. Run that one back to me. Make it make sense to me. Maybe I'm being slow. Let me read it one more time. What would you do if Brandon Marshall was your GM? I don't know what you're asking me. I'm going to skip that one. Come back. If you hear, come back with that one and make it make sense to me. Captain Spartan 04 says, can the Jets just start Bryce Petty and Hackenberg? Well, you can't start both. It's got to be one or the other. I mean, there is something I can't see that says they can't. No, you don't start both. You got to pick one. Bryce Petty's next in line. I guess he's been there longer, but obviously they don't think Bryce Petty. To me, they can't think Bryce Petty's the future, or you don't draft Christian Hackenberg. So, honestly speaking, Geno Smith's next in line. He's the guy that they trust, and he's in a contract. These other guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon. You got plenty of time to figure out who they are as quarterbacks. If you don't feel like they're ready, no need to rush them. But Geno Smith's contract is up. So if you feel like, hey, he's the guy that we want to bridge the gap with next year to start and get these guys ready. And if he struggles, we're going to put one of these other young guys in and as we work with them over the offseason. Then you do that. Or you can say, hey, Geno Smith actually good enough to be our starter. We're going to roll with Geno next year and could put together a similar contract like you did for Fitzpatrick, where, of course, it won't be for as much money because Geno Smith hasn't proven himself in this league. But you can say, hey, man, we want to pay you a 2-year, $12 million deal to come back and be our quarterback next year. Geno might say, hey, I don't want to go anywhere else. Cool, let's do that. And if Geno plays well down the stretch, maybe that's a viable option for you, for him to be a stopgap for you. Who knows? We'll see. Sean Mack says, can my Browns actually win a game this year against the Jets in 13 days? It's possible, man. Anything's possible. The Jets stink. They stink. Anything's possible, man. I don't know, though. I just saw that Terrell Pryor had an injury. I think it was a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. You can't afford that. Not if you're trying to beat somebody. Vincent Cole said, did Kim DJ play for the Cardinals yet? How did he do so far? I just saw him in a game tonight for the first time. They brought him in a pass rushing situation. So obviously the young man isn't where they want him to be quite yet. So he's getting snaps here and there, I'm guessing. They're sparse, but he's not seeing the field very often. No. I think they just got him in certain packages that they feel comfortable putting him in, and he feels comfortable rushing in. Eagle Speed is a nerd, says, Ryan Fitzpatrick or Geno Smith? Geno. Oh, Geno. Oh, it's Geno Smith time, man. One of my favorite NFL quarterbacks. Geno. Oh, Geno. Oh, no, he's back. Gotta give me some Geno Smith. I'm tired of Ryan Fitzpatrick, man. I've already made fun of him enough. It's time for somebody new to give me new material for him. I love me some Geno. Who doesn't love Geno Smith? Gosh, this would be fun, man. Captain Spartan 04 says, I forgot. How was Buster Screen a top corner in the league again? He's not as bad as he was portrayed tonight, man. Those were some ticky-tack calls in this game. Speaking of which, the officials were horrible tonight, man. But you know what? This has been a league-wide epidemic this season, man. Officials been calling some nonsense in certain games. Not all of them. I'm not going to sit here and complain about all the officiating, but tell you what, man. It's been some real suspect officiating going on, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Buster Screen didn't look that bad to me tonight. I thought the officials made him out to be a villain, man. He's really a superhero. They made him look like a villain tonight, unfortunately. Sean Mack says, this win keeps me from going double-digit losses this week, LOL. Hey, I love it, man. I dare somebody to beat me this week. I'm feeling confident about what I put forth this week, man. And I was due for one of these, and so I'm back like cook crack. And I'm going to let y'all know it too, man. I'm going to let y'all know. And I want somebody to send my bottle of Chateau de Brion VIP Express upstairs, man. Upstairs in the penthouse. Y'all send that to me. BE says, the Jets had the number 2 ranked run defense until they met DJ. I think Sean McDonough made a great point. Where the Jets, was that a real number 2 rating? Like, were teams actually trying to run? Or they said, damn, your pass defense stinks. Seriously, it stinks. We gonna throw the football. That whole running thing, overrated. I think we just gonna pass today. Yeah, we just gonna pass. Don't worry about the run. Y'all good. Is that what was going on? Or are teams actually trying to run it and getting stonewalled? When they tell me every quarterback that they've played against, except for tonight, has thrown for at least 300 yards, I'm looking around like, y'all running a rock or what? They like, nah, man, we just going to throw it. We good. Appreciate you asking, though. Appreciate the offer. We just going to throw it today. So, I don't know if that was a legit number 2 rating or not. Eagle Speed is a nerd said, if the Jets had Tom Brady, what would their record be? And he started from game 1. Probably, with the weapons they have, probably 6-0. Yeah, probably 6-0. I don't think they've played a game yet that they couldn't have won. I don't think they were over. Even the Steelers game, they were right in that game till the fourth quarter. So they probably 6-0 right now, straight up. That's assuming Tom Brady is Tom Brady playing for the Jets. I mean, don't forget what the Patriots mean to Tom Brady as well. Goes both ways. Bill Belichick isn't Bill Belichick without Tom Brady. Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. So I don't want to undersell the other, and I don't want to take either one of those guys for granted. I think they each need each other. Sort of like Scottie Pippen and Mike Jordan. They each need each other. They never won without one another. Enrique Valencia says, should the Jets start Christian Hackenberg? Can't possibly be worse than Fitz Tragic and Geno Smith. Do you want to throw Hack out there, though, really? Like, is he ready? Like, that's the biggest thing. Is he ready? You feel like he's ready? Because if he's not, no reason to rush. You're not going anywhere this year, and there's no reason to rush the young man. I'd like him to take some practice reps. I'd like to see him under center, get a feel for if this guy can handle what we're going to throw on his plate. And if you feel comfortable after a couple of practices, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? If you wanted to insert Christian Hackenberg after a bye week, let's say the Jets' bye week is in week 10, and you said, all right, Hack, we're going to get you ready up to speed over this bye week. I'm cool. I'm with it. But if that's not the case, I don't know if I really feel comfortable throwing a guy out there that's not getting any practice reps that's a rookie. I probably, like I said, I'd much rather roll with Geno Smith. We're going to find out a lot about who they feel confident in going into the game next because, I'm telling the story because Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's not like he's off the roster now. He's going to be your backup quarterback behind Geno Smith. So those other two still won't be dressing out on game days anyway. Captain Spartan 04 says, remember when the Jets beat the Patriots and the Jets fans thought they were going to the Super Bowl? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, but every time the Jets beat the Patriots is a big deal. You know, when there's a team in your division that runs the division and you can't seem to knock them off the mountain top, your fan base goes nuts when you beat them. And I'm pretty sure it's just like when Arizona finally beat Seattle. When Seattle was running the show in the NFC West, their fans went nuts. I remember talking to a Arizona Cardinals fan, and he kept telling me, there's no way we're beating Seattle. And I said, I got you, man. You winning this game. That's when they went into Seattle and won, and their backup quarterback, Drew Stanton, did the jump up dance. They were excited, man. Seahawks fans, Cardinals fans were excited. They were like, man, this is the year. We're going to do it. They were confident after that. So, yeah, that's how it is, man, in a division where one team runs the show and everybody else is kind of paying rent. And, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Sean Mack says, I want #PickPatrick to play my Browns in 13 days. You might not get your wish, man. I think that might be Geno. We're going to see. Geno will give you a couple opportunities, too. You saw the one he threw to Tyrann Mathieu. He'll give you a couple of opportunities, too, man. It's enough there for them to share. Trust me. It's enough there for them to share. Don't worry. You'll get yours. You better be ready to take advantage of it. Your boys better be ready to make some plays. That's all I'm going to tell you. B says, you answering live calls? I might. I don't know. Because I still, you want me to tell you what sucks is, remember last night I had the technical difficulties with the network outage. I still got one more game that I didn't get to because I had to do the Sunday night football overtime over this morning. So I still got to do Atlanta, Seattle. So I'm trying to wrap this up as quick as possible, get that done, and see if that's something that'll be a viable option for me. So I don't know if I'm taking calls tonight. I wanted to take calls tonight, but I didn't get – my plan was to do the Seahawks and Falcons breakdown at halftime of the game. It just never came to fruition. So I don't know if I'll be able to take calls tonight or not. Nick Riley says, man, the Jets beyond buns. They really bought in Smith like he was going to do something. And they were just trying to switch it up, man, and see if he was a guy that they could potentially start moving forward, and they probably will. We'll see what happens. Eagle Speed is a nerd says, David Johnson or Chris Johnson? What kind of question is that, man? Not even going to answer that. Enrique Valencia says, who would you rather have, Zeke or David Johnson? I'd rather have David Johnson. And I'm a huge Zeke fan, but I don't know how good of a pass catcher he is. I'm pretty sure he can catch. I know what David Johnson is as a pass catcher. I know Zeke is a better pass protector right now than David Johnson is, but David's getting better at that, as you saw tonight. I just know right now I trust David Johnson's all-around game, but I think Zeke has higher upside. But I've been a David Johnson fan for quite some time. Ezekiel Elliott, I thought he was talented. I knew he was a top 10 talent, But I was never a huge Zeke fan. I was a David Johnson fan him coming into the draft. I wanted my Redskins to take him. So, and maybe because I knew Zeke was too rich for my blood and I wasn't going to get a chance to touch him, it was why I wasn't so high on him. But David Johnson, to me, he's the man. I'm a David Johnson guy. So that's just me. But Zeke is a beast. Don't get it twisted. Captain Spartan 04 says, Brandon Marshall said he wanted Fitzpatrick on a long-term deal. He deserves all the money he wants. B. Marsh just be talking. Don't pay him no mind, man. Don't pay him no mind. Nick says, man, Smith stinks. Yes, he does. DJ says, I see the Jets are trash tonight. I think the Raiders have a chance this Sunday. Your thoughts? Obviously they do. And who knows who's going to be at quarterback, but the Jets, they're toilet bowl right now. Every game is a chance for the opposition to get a W. And so if the Ravens are looking to get back on track, if you can't beat the Jets, you got problems, man. You got big-time problems. Captain Spartan 04 says he also thought Jay Cutler had a chance to become an MVP. What is he supposed to say? Hey, my quarterback stink. You can't throw your quarterback under the bus. You gotta build these guys up with confidence, man. What else is he supposed to say? And both of those were his guys, though. Remember, B. Marsh goes back to the Denver days with Cutler. That's his boy. So yeah, you know how that go. Sean Mack says, who stinks more than Cutler, #Cutler sucks, or pick Patrick? It's not even up for debate. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Jay Cutler's got talent. Not to say that Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is a journeyman undrafted quarterback out of Harvard, whereas Jay Cutler was a first-round pick out of Vandy. The similarities aren't even close. Cutler's got a rocket for an arm, all the talent you could ask for. Fitzpatrick is a try-hard guy that really maximized every ounce of ability that he had. And to me, he was a right place at the right time type of guy. Everywhere he went, he was supposed to be the backup, not supposed to see the field. And through catastrophe after catastrophe after catastrophe, he found his way on the field in just about every stop he had. St. Louis, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Buffalo, Jets, you name it, he got a start there. And Houston, it's amazing. They always brought him up. All right, man, you're going to be our backup. 4 weeks in the season, Ryan Fitzpatrick's ass is on the field. And you're like, God damn it, how did we get here again? I thought I got rid of you. Never get rid of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Somebody probably going to pick him up next year. And he probably going to end up starting again at some point. So it's just like Billy Ho. I'm like, all right, that playoff game last year against Kansas City, I got rid of your ass. He's gone now. Bear said, nah, we're going to bring him in as a backup. But only as a backup. He's only backing up Jay Cutler. Billy Ho's the damn starter in Chicago, man. You can't shake these boys, man. They're like cockroaches. You kill one, it's like 3-4 more of them coming, man. These boys are dangerous. Geno Smith really is 100% buns. Hey, man, y'all gotta leave Geno alone, man. Y'all gotta leave Geno alone. Let him throw up all over himself first before y'all kill him. BE says, I went 8-7. Good, you stayed above the Mendoza line. Good for you. Yesterday I didn't know if you were gonna make it, man. You seemed very concerned yesterday, but we're gonna check. Remember, I don't trust you guys in the comment section. I'm gonna wait till we get to the actual Wednesday night Louie Tee live feed, and I get in front of those picks, and we're gonna really find out who went what. Sean Mack says, bro, did you just say cooked crack? Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did say that. Hey, you be hearing everything too, man. I gotta watch you. You be on it. Captain Spartan 04 says, heard the Jets owner wasn't expecting a rebuild when he hired Bowles and the new GM Mike McCagnon. What the hell was he thinking? Then the Jets are getting old. Well, see, he got spoiled last year. That's what happened. If last year was 7-9, 6-10, he wouldn't have been that brash. They went 10-6 last year and were on the cusp of making the playoffs. They win that final game in Buffalo. They make the postseason. And so he's thinking to himself, hell, we were that close last year. We should be a year better now. Everybody's comfortable. Coaching staff's a year better, year more comfortable with all the players they have. We just had a solid draft. We should be better. So, of course, Woody Johnson is looking around like, yeah, we should be able to win 11 games this year and make it to the playoffs. After what we did last year, doesn't work like that though. And obviously, he didn't realize his quarterback was Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, everybody involved got spoiled last year. Brandon Marshall got spoiled last year. Eric Decker got spoiled last year. Todd Bowles got spoiled last year. Mike McCagnon got spoiled last year. Woody Johnson got spoiled last year. Everybody on board got spoiled and thought that Ryan Fitzpatrick was the answer. And they had to find out the hard way that he's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Savage Raven says, think the Ravens can beat the Jets? Yes, I do. I think everybody has a chance to beat the Jets. Nick Riley says, I had 8 wins. Not good, but at least I didn't have double-digit losses. Hey, look, man, sometimes in some of these weeks it's rough. The goal is just not to go below the Mendoza line. Like, don't set your goals that low. Don't set your bar that low where you're like, at least I didn't get double-digit losses. Just say, hey, look, I didn't go below the Mendoza line. Once you don't do that, I can somewhat respect you, okay? Once you start talking about double digits, that means you already below the Mendoza line, and now you're just trying to not drown, all right? When you below the Mendoza line, your head pops up above the water, then you go back underneath. Then you go back under, then you come back up for some air. You go to double-digit losses, you drowning, man. You are dead in the water. Dead, I tell you. All right, let's see what you guys. Nick said, one of the best 1-2 punch combos, Shaq and Kobe. We all know this. Come on, man. You had to bring the Lakers into this, didn't you? Come on, man. Those guys couldn't even get along with each other to maximize the potential that was there. Nobody's better than Pip and Mike. Scott and Mike, man. Stop your nonsense. Captain Spartan 04 says, by the way, I'm saying start Petty over Hackenberg. Okay. Yeah, they probably could do that. And I think he would be in line before Hackenberg. Because if they didn't think so, they would have just cut him loose. No reason to hold on to him. You don't need 4 quarterbacks. That's absurd. Eagle Speed is a nerd says, how pissed would you be if Ryan Fitzpatrick stayed with the Jets, even though he throws? I could care less. I'm not a Jets fan. I would not mind whatsoever. I know Jets fans probably wouldn't be too excited about that. Nick says, Jets need to hit my Vikings up for Sean Hill. Old man still going to lead them to the promised land. Stop it. See, that's y'all problem right there. Y'all like to throw salt in the wound, man. Y'all love kicking a man when he down, man. Y'all leave the Jets alone, man. BE says, you should take one call. Mine, LOL. If I open up the phone lines, I'm probably going to get blown up. Enrique Valencia says, whatever happened to Devin Smith for the Jets? He's still there. I think he might be a little banged up, but I've seen him before. I don't recall seeing him too often this year. They've got a lot of new receivers. Robbie Anderson. They've got the kid from Jalen Marshall from Ohio State, and my man from Nebraska has been getting a much bigger role this year. Quincy Enunwa has been getting a much bigger role this year. So a lot of other guys stepping in this year. I haven't seen a lot of Devin Smith, to be honest. I don't know if he's hurt or what. I think he hurt himself, to be honest with you. No, he didn't get cut. Cap. You don't cut second-round picks after the second year unless he's a cancer in your locker room. You don't cut him after the second year. DJ over Zeke, you smoking that cooked crack, bro. Maybe I am, but that's just how I'm feeling right now, man. Love me some David Johnson. That's how I roll, man. Enrique Valencia says, random thought, but who are the top 5 players that are trapped by bad teams? Well, I guess you could start in. This is the thing. Most of these players that are trapped by bad teams are past their prime. Like Joe Thomas, probably past his prime. You know, I saw Brian Orakpo beat him for a sack on Sunday, and there was one season, maybe even 2 in there, where Joe Thomas didn't give up a sack. So he might be past his prime a little bit, but Alex Mack was able to get out, and look what he's doing for that Falcons football team. So maybe it's never too late. So Joe Thomas would definitely be on that list. Brandon Marshall, even at his age, he's still doing it big. He'd be on that list. I think Matt Forte still has a lot to offer to somebody if they were open to having an older back. He'd probably be on that list. I don't think there's any players on the San Francisco 49ers that would make the list. I'm trying to think of the Bears. Well, they just got Josh Sitton from Green Bay, but he trapped himself. He didn't have to go there, and he decided to go there. So I don't know if it was a money thing and they had the most money to offer or what, but he went there on his own. So I don't even want to consider that being trapped. Who else is terrible? Do the Carolina Panthers count? No, I'm joking. I gotta stop. I'm being just like y'all now, man. I just gave you 3. If I had to think, I don't know if there are any other terrible teams in the league. I mean, I just named all the teams that had either 0 or 1 wins. Carolina, I'm not gonna throw them in there because I don't consider them a terrible team. They're having a bad season, but they're not a perennial loser like these other franchises that I've plucked players off of. So, yeah, pretty sure if I sat and I thought about it, gave it some serious thought, I'd probably be able to come up with a couple more. But in any event, AK asks the following. I'm the Jeff Fisher of weekly picks, 9-7 for the last 3 weeks, man. Well, then you need to go on a rant talking about how you're not gonna go 9-7 next week. How 9-7 isn't effing good enough. Okay, that's what you need to do, AK. And maybe you'll crack double digits next week, or maybe you'll get worse. We'll see. Sean Mack says, I can't even see the light at the surface of the water, bro. Man, that's pretty deep, man. You down in the depths of the water down there, man, where it's cold. It's real cold down there. I told you it's cold down there. I don't go down there, man. I told you that. BE says, you think a lot of people are going to call? It's potentially, see, that's the thing. If you open it up, you don't know. I can always cut it off, but like I said, I don't think I'm going to open it up tonight just because I'm trying to get out of here. I got another video I got to do. Eagle Speed is a nerd. What are the 3 most bandwagon teams in the NFL? It's hard for me to say. I feel like the Steelers fan base, to me, it's whoever's winning, honestly speaking. Like where I live, we don't have a professional team. So it's very heavily based off of military. It's a very transient community where we live in the state of Virginia because of the presence of the military. So whoever wins the Super Bowl, like you won't see any Giants flags on cars or nobody's license plates has Giants on it, none of that. Giants win the Super Bowl and every car that comes by has got a Giant flag hanging out the window and the license plate says Giants and they got something on the car that says Super Bowl champions. You're like, I just drove behind you for the last 2 weeks. You didn't have anything Giants on your car. What are you doing? Pittsburgh Steelers wins the Super Bowl. Same thing. So to me, I guess it's because where I live, it's hard for me to say because it's really whoever wins the Super Bowl. Packers win the Super Bowl. I bet you there are 1,000 Packer fans come out of the woodwork. You're like, dude, you weren't a Packers fan 2 weeks ago. Saw you 2 weeks ago. You didn't even mention the Packers. Now all of a sudden you love the Packers. So maybe that's probably why I can't give you a straight answer. For me, the Steelers are up there though. Like I running the Steelers fan, and you know how people are, man. It's whoever's winning. Really, that's what it boils down to. Nobody likes being associated with a loser. So if you're not a real fan of a team and you're gonna jump ship, you always go into a team that's winning. Who's hot right now? Captain Spartan 04 says, would you rather have Jeff Fisher as your coach or Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Hoyer as your quarterback? I would much rather have Jeff Fisher as my coach. It's not even close. Enrique Valencia says, what if Ryan Fitzpatrick somehow ends up on the Redskins and then Kirk Cousins gets hurt? Then I would put in Colt McCoy. That's what I would do. Sean Mack says, Joe Thomas ain't past his prime, bro. Thomas says he wants to retire as a Brown. He loves fishing on Lake Erie. I'm not trying to push him out the door. Relax. I don't want to take your stuff. You don't have a lot of stuff out there to take, Sean Mack. I'm not going to take the little bit of stuff that you do have from you, man. I'm not that cruel, man. I wouldn't do that. BE says, hey, do you have a channel, a Discord channel for sports talk? You know, I thought about doing that one time because I have so many ideas, but I said I'm not great at multitasking. That's one of my few limitations in life. I'm not great at multitasking. So me having another channel off to the side probably wouldn't be a good idea because I would find it hard to manage both of them. I would be coming up with ideas for one, neglecting the other, and vice versa. You get the picture. They actually said that the human brain isn't built to multitask. We claim that we multitask, but actually your brain isn't wired to do more than one thing at a time. We like to think that we're great multitaskers, and there probably are people that do more than one thing at a time. I'm just not one of them. What's your take on it? That hit by DJ Swearinger was vicious. It was legal, it was clean, and it was nasty. I felt bad. I actually felt bad for Sharon Pete. I said, are you spitting up blood? Damn, that was vicious. It was. I was waiting for the yellow to come out, and they didn't throw it. Proud of them for not throwing that flag, because they threw a flag on every damn thing else tonight. Hey, don't do the Panthers like that. I know, right? I know that was wrong. I apologize. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sean Mack says, gotta go to work, make that cheddar so my ass ain't calling LOL. I hear you, man. I was sporting my Browns gear in Iraq, bro. Spreading the love worldwide. And they still won't buy it, were they? It's tough. Said, hell no. Give me Colt McCoy, LOL. Love me some Colt McCoy, man. I love me some Colt McCoy. And with that, we've run through all the comments. Cardinals take care of business. Oh, wait. Vincent Cole says, are you into basketball or other sports like football? I'm a basketball dude. I dibble and dabble in baseball. I played baseball growing up. So, yeah, I get into all of that stuff. I'm not a hockey guy. I don't venture off from the three major sports. I'm a three major sports guy: baseball, basketball, football. Once you start getting into tennis and hockey and all that stuff, you got me. I'm lost. You can't. I can't help you. But yeah, that's me. So Cardinals get it done tonight, 28-3. Get back to 500, 3-3 on the season. Big win. Now they got a huge showdown in week number 7 at home on Sunday Night Football versus the Seattle Seahawks. For all intents and purposes, that game is going to be, for all intents and purposes, if this division race is going to be tight, Cardinals need to win that football game. If the Seattle Seahawks are going to run away with that division, they're going to win this game on the road, because then that means Arizona still has to come back to Seattle. And so Seattle doing a good job of taking care of a lot of their divisional games on the road first. They already lost to the Rams on the road. They did beat San Francisco at home. Now they're going on the road again. If they can get this one, who cares about Los Angeles, okay? The Rams are going to be the Rams. At the end of the day, they're going to win 6 or 7 games max. They're not going anywhere, and they know that. So they sit atop this division right now at 4-1, 2-game lead on just about a game and a half lead on just about everybody. They played one less game than everybody else in the division. This is a huge matchup. Seattle wins this game, they win the NFC West this year, most likely. Barring any catastrophic injuries, they're going to win that division. So this is a big, big game for the Arizona Cardinals. Meanwhile, the Jets, a bunch of questions, not a lot of answers, and your season is done. So now it's time to start experimenting. It's time to start figuring out what you got on this roster and start in your mind. You're not gonna come out and say we're prepping for next year. We're trying to figure out some things for the offseason, but mentally, behind the scenes, that's what you should be doing with this roster. Figuring out who can play ball, who can't, and trying to figure out who you need to move on from and who are going to be guys that are going to be key cogs in this Jets machine moving forward. Let's see. You guys are stupid, man. All right. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna get out of here. I got another video to break down. So if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on Monday Night Football overtime. I was about to say Sunday. Come back and join your man Louie Tee. I got one more game to break down in Week 6 in the National Football League. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I will see you guys next time. Maybe that's in 10 minutes. Maybe that's on Wednesday. I don't know. That's up to you to decide. Either way, have a great, not a good, not an okay, a great night. See you next time.
Broncos won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning retired. 49ers won 5 games and Tom Sula got fired. RG's in Cleveland and my Rams hit the West Coast. Be sleepless in Seattle cause that 12 man ain't beast mode. Oh yeah, I knew it was something I forgot to mention. Yeah, old Tom Brady about to get that suspension. Yeah, I know the Pats fans probably think that's whack. Yeah, but at the end of the day, your balls was flat. It's that time again. It's that time again to go hard in the offseason, cause we trying to win. We gon' go so hard, we don't take no days off. Hopefully one day it's all gonna pay off. Shout out your defense, they tissue cause they soft. Catch 'em while they sleeping, we gon' sneak in the playoffs. I'm ready for some football, I don't know about you. Who else could?